In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Welcome to the world of physics. Due to coronavirus, we have to continue our online class. At first, I would like to suggest you stay home, stay safe. Let me introduce. I am Muhammad Muqtadir Hossain Bhuiya, lecturer, Department of Physics. At first, observe this diagram. And observe. And now think what you have observed in this diagram. And observe this diagram too. Now think what you have observed in previous two diagram. And here the name of the chapter is Atomic Model and Nuclear Physics. And previously we have learned about half-life, atomic model, and nuclear decay law, and mean life. And today we are going to learn about radioactive decay, binding energy, mass defect, and binding energy per nucleon. These are the topics that we are going to be discussed in our class time. After this class, you'll be able to explain the characteristics of alpha, beta, and gamma particles, explain radioactive decay and uses of radioactive element, and explain mass defect and binding energy. And these all are the learning outcomes that will be achieved after the end of this lesson. And key points based on these topics are radioactive decay, binding energy, mass defect, and binding energy per nucleon. At first, our first topic is radioactivity. Radioactivity, the process by which the nucleus of an unstable atom loses energy by emitting radiation, including alpha particle, beta particle, and gamma rays, is called radioactivity. Actually, it's a process by which the nucleus of an unstable atom loses energy by emitting radiation. And here, two particles and one ray may be emitted from any radioactive element. These are alpha particle, beta particle, and gamma rays. To understand radioactivity, at first we are going to brief isotope shortly. You know the definition of isotope, and if if an isotope is stable, then there is no radioactive element from this isotope, and if another isotope that may be unstable and it can be radioactive. Here carbon 12 is stable, carbon 13 is also stable, but carbon 14 is unstable. That's why this carbon 14 is unstable and it is radioactive isotope of carbon. And two isotopes of sodium is sodium 1123 and sodium 1124. Here from radioactivity element we have 3 decay for, like alpha, beta, and gamma. Here alpha particle is helium nucleus, beta particle is electron, and gamma particles is photon. It's comparable to these photon. It is comparable to electron, and it is comparable to helium nucleus. Here in alpha particle we have 2 proton, 2 neutrons. In beta particle, neutron decays into a proton and element is given off, and in gamma rays, gamma radiation, only energy is released from this gamma decay. And alpha particle consists of 2 protons and 2 neutrons, identical to the nucleus of a helium atom. Here uranium is unstable, and from uranium we have helium nucleus, that is alpha particle, and that by emitting alpha particle it produces another nucleus, that is thorium. This is the example of alpha decay. A beta particle is actually an electron. For this, inside the nucleus of an electron has to dissociate into a proton and an electron. This is uh, the basics of emitting beta particle. And here from neutron we have a proton and an electron, and a antineutrino is also released from this. And in this process the number of proton increased by 1, and hence the atomic numbers also increased by 1, and the nucleus is different element. Is from phosphorus we have we obtain sulfur, and this is beta particle that released from these proton from this phosphorus. And the emission of an antiparticle of electron, that is positron, is also called beta decay. Here the important point is antiparticle of electron is antiparticle of electron that is also called beta radiation. But it is beta plus decay. For this reason, proton has to be converted into a neutron inside the nucleus. Here, proton is converted into a neutron, and hence we obtain the beta radiation. Here, gamma rays are are a form of electromagnetic radiation, like light and radio and radio and television, that comes from the nucleus of radioactive atom and occurs when an unstable nucleus emit electromagnetic radiation, and the radiation has no mass, and it also its emission doesn't change the element. This is the basics of gamma rays, and we are going to discuss the characteristics of radioactive element. Here the characteristics are shown in this table. Here first characteristics of like a proton, neutron, mass, charge, and value of charge, and velocity and wave. And here alpha particle is helium nucleus, beta is nearable to electron, and um, uh, actually beta rays is just opposite to electron, just opposite to positron, and gamma rays is electromagnetic wave. And proton number for alpha particle is 2, for beta it is 0, for gamma it is 0. Neutron number for alpha particle is 2, for beta particle it is 0, and for gamma particle it is 0. And mass of the alpha particle is 4 times than the hydrogen atom, and it is same as beta particle. Mass of the beta particle is same as electron, and gamma particle has no mass. Charge of the alpha particle is positive, and charge of the beta particle is negative, and charge of the gamma ray is neutral. And value of charge are given here, and the velocity is the 10% velocity of light, and it may be the velocity to of is nearly 50 to 90% of the velocity of the light, and it's like light, and the its velocity is equal to light. And actually alpha ray and alpha particle and beta particle is not wave, and here gamma ray is only have wave, and it is electromagnetic wave. And alpha particle may be deflected by magnetic and electric field, and beta particle is also deflected by electric and magnetic field, but gamma ray cannot be deflected by electric and magnetic field. And ionization of it can be ionized, and beta particle can produce enough ionization in gas, and it ionizes power. Ionization power is less, and value of the penetrating power is alpha particle is less, and it may be passed through 6 centimeter thick air, and it pass 3 millimeter thick aluminum sheet, and it is and it can in gamma particle, the value of the penetration power of gamma particle is much more higher than alpha and beta particle. And for gamma particle it can pass through a lead sheet having a few centimeter thickness. And penetrating power are given here, comparison is given here, and wavelength is wavelength of alpha particle is higher than beta, then gamma, and energy level is shown here. And fluorescence alpha particle produce on zinc screen, it produce scintillation, and it can produce fluorescence also, beta particle, and it can be produce fluorescence. And um, detection of alpha particle, and it can be detected by photographic film, cloud chamber, and gold leaf electroscope. And beta particle can be detected by photographic film and cloud chamber, and gamma particle or gamma rays is detected by photographic film, cloud chamber, and Geiger-Muller counter. Here the comparison study of penetration power of alpha, beta, and gamma is shown. Alpha can be it can penetrate only air. Now it can be restricted by paper. Beta particle can penetrate air and aluminum sheet, and gamma particle can be penetrate all of them. And the penetration power is much higher than beta and gamma particle. Uses of radioactive element. These all are the uses of radioactive elements. Like radioactive isotopes are used as a radioactive traces to diagnose different diseases like blockage of kidney, thyroid problem, etc. To make the equipment germless, to control the thickness of paper in the paper mill, to identify the presence of smoke in the fire, to verify the welding of metal. The handle of number of many watches are seen glittering even the dark by mixturing of radioactive thorium and zinc sulfide. And dangers of radioactivity are life killer. Cancer may cause by radioactive element, and the preventive power against disease is reduced by radioactive radiation, and man can be mentally disabled, physically invalid. It effect can be observed from generation to generation. And our next topic is nuclear binding energy. Actually, the energy must be added to nucleus to separate it into its individual nucleon, like a proton, neutron is, and the energy that must be added to separate the nucleons is called the binding energy. And the binding energy is the energy by which the nucleons are bound together. These are the three definitions, and in three ways we can define nuclear binding energy. And binding energy, here the nucleus smaller mass, and uh, if we add binding energy, and we can separate the nucleus into greater mass. And um, Einstein and energy, this is the equation for E is equal to mc square. This is the equation E is equal to mc square. This is the equation for Einstein equation, and it is relatable to energy, mass energy equation. Um, and here m is the rest mass. And Einstein equation is not only says the mass and energy are equivalent to each other with the speed of light as a conversion factor, but energy and mass is interchangeable between each other. In other words, mass is a form of energy. This is the basic thing of Einstein equation. And our next topic is a mass defect. Before discussing binding energy thoroughly, we have to have some previous information of mass defect. Actually, the total mass of the nucleus, the individual proton and neutron is always greater than the it is always greater than the mass of the nucleus by the atoms is called the mass defect. Mass defect is the mass of the individual nucleus minus the mass of the nucleus. Actually, mass of the nucleus minus uh, individual mass of the nucleus minus the total mass of the nucleus is called mass defect. Mass defect represent the mass that is converted into binding energy. And nuclear binding energy is the nuclear binding energy for a nucleus is containing jet proton and neutron is here n is the neutron number containing in the nucleus, and the quantity in the uh, parenthesis is the mass defect. We have another way here. Note that the equation doesn't include ZMP and the mass of the jet protons. The equation contains that M is here mass of the Z protons and Z electrons combined as a neutral uh, neutral H atom, hydrogen atom to balance the electron included in the nucleus, and the M is the mass of the neutral atom. Here, nuclear masses are measured in terms of atomic mass, which atomic mass units with the carbon 12 nucleus defined as having a mass of exactly 12 U. Here, U is atomic mass unit, and 1 electron volt, we have to know this information. 1 electron volt is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule, and binding energy of a deuterium. The simplest nucleus is hydrogen, a single proton. Next comes the nucleus. There is deuterium, is also called deuterium, and its nucleus consists of a proton and a neutron bound together to form a uh, particle caused a deuterium. That is another neutron is added to um, hydrogen atom. Then we have deuteron, and binding energy of deuteron is EV is equal to 2.224 mega electron volt, and this amount of energy that would be needed to pull the deuteron apart into a proton and neutron. And an important measures of how tightly a nucleus is bounded together is binding energy per nucleon. Actually, uh, here three information we have for deuteron, binding energy of deuteron, and we have to uh, pull uh, if you want to uh, uh, if you want to divide deuteron, then you have to give us the amount of energy, that is 2.224 mega electron volt. Extra additional energy must be added to keep it apart the proton and a neutron. And uh, the important measures of how tightly a nucleus is bound together is the binding energy per nucleon. Here, binding energy of a deuteron is the atomic mass number, and by dividing the total binding energy by atomic number, we have binding energy per nucleon. That is that can be written as B by A, binding energy per nucleon, and H has the smallest binding energy per nucleon for nucleides, and the higher the binding energy per nucleus, the more stable the nucleus. This is the condition. And binding energy comparison, the anonymity of nuclear binding energy can be better appreciated by comparing to the binding energy of the electron in an atom. The comparison of the alpha particle binding energy with the binding energy of the electron in a hydrogen atom is shown in the next slide. The binding energies are on the order of a million times greater than the binding energy and than the electron binding energy of atom. Here, nuclear binding energy is higher, much more higher, million times higher than the electron binding energy of atom. Here, binding energy per nucleon, most stable nuclides from the lightest to the most massive have binding energy in the range of 7 to 9 mega electron volt per nucleon, and a graph of binding energy per nucleon as a function of mass number shown a spike at is A is equal to 4 and showing the usually large binding energy per nucleus of the helium nucleus, that is alpha particle. In we are going to show some diagram here. Binding energy per nucleon for in x-axis we have atomic number, along x-axis we have atomic number, and along y-axis we have binding energy per nucleon, that is EB by A, that we have discussed. That is binding energy per nucleon is can be written by EB divided by A, and this is the graph for different atoms, and the graph for binding energy per nucleon. And for hydrogen, the binding energy is 1 mega electron volt. For helium, it is 2 point something, and after increasing the atomic number, it increases rapidly, and after certain time, from after iron, it cannot be increased as previous way, and we have a plateau here, and we have average binding energy in such a way after after the increasing of atomic number after from iron to forward. And binding energy per nucleon, the fact that there is a peak in the binding energy curve in the region of stability near iron means that either the breakup of heavier nucleus, that is fission, or the combining of the lighter nucleus, that is fusion. Two term is introduced here. Will yield nuclei which are more tightly bound and less mass per nucleon. And strong nuclear force, the force that binds the proton and neutrons together in the nucleus despite the electrical repulsion of protons, is an example of the strong nuclear force. The characteristics of strong nuclear force is it doesn't depend on the charge, and it have short range, like the range is 10 to the power minus 15 meter. Within short range, the nuclear strong force is greater than the electrical force of repulsion, and a strong nuclear force doesn't depend on charge, and it interact within the short range, that is about 10 to the power minus 15 meter. And physicists still do not fully understand the dependence of the strong force on the uh, separation R, and here the nearly constant density of the nuclear matter and the nearly constant binding energy per nucleon of large nuclei shows that the particular nucleons cannot interact simultaneously with all the other nucleons in a nucleus, and but only with those directly around it. This is different from the electrical force. It's important, and every proton in the nucleus repel every other proton in the nucleus. And here another interesting thing is that physicists still do not fully understand the dependence on the strong nuclear force on the separation R. And strong nuclear force is it favors a binding of a pair of proton or neutron with opposite spin, and pair of pairs, a pair of protons and a pair of neutron, each having opposite spin. And it produce, and they that's why they produce alpha particle, 2 protons and 2 neutron, and that is stable nucleus. Here alpha particles uh, is some kind of uh, example of a strong nuclear force. Due to strong nuclear force, so 2 proton and 2 neutron can interact with each other. And equation for mass energy relationship is E is equal mc square. There is Einstein equation also. And mass defect is here mass number of proton into here the mass is mass number of proton and mass number of neutron. All the masses is introduced in atomic mass unit, and here mass number of total individual nucleus minus mass number of total nucleus is mass defect, and amount mu is atomic mass unit of proton is 1.00726 and mass mu, and for a neutron the mass number is 1.0086. I think you have to know these two constant below, and mass defect is nothing but the difference of mass number of individual nucleons minus mass number of the nucleus. Here binding energy per nucleon is binding energy per nucleon of a nucleus is the binding energy divided by the total number of nucleon in the nucleus, that is binding energy per nucleon. Here we have to divide total number of total binding energy of the nucleus divided by number of nucleons of the nucleus, and for in case of helium total binding energy is 28.3, and for helium the total nucleon number is 4, and that's why for helium nucleus binding energy per nucleon is 7.1 mega electron volt, and the greater the nuclides have a value of around 8 mega electron volt per nucleus. It's the average value for binding energy. It's around 4 mega electron volt for greater nuclides, and the value is uh, nearly 8 mega electron volt per nucleon for binding energy per nucleon. Okay, and here the graph is shown here. Hydrogen and helium. For helium the value is much more higher and it grows rapidly, and after that the value of lithium, carbon, oxygen, and here the value of uh, iron, and after that the value doesn't increase with time, increase with the increase of number of nucleon in nucleus, that is number of mass number in the nucleus, and with the increase the value remain nearly same and gradually decreases, and uh, for uranium we have this value, and here the average value is nearly around 8 mega electron volt, and along x-axis we imported average binding energy per nucleon, and along x-axis we imported atomic mass number, and along y-axis we imported binding energy per nucleon. Here two things is important for us. The largest value occurred at around for iron 56. This implies that iron 56 is the most stable nucleus. This is important. And notice that uranium 235, a more massive nucleus, has a lower binding energy per nucleon with compared to iron, and it's much more smaller than iron, and you can split a nucleus of uranium 235, you will release the excess binding energy because lower mass fusion products with higher binding energy per nucleon will be produced, and this releases a tiny amount of energy per fission that is less than 1 mega electron volt, but it adds up 18.7 million kilowatt hour per kg of uranium 235. I think this slide is for just for comparison between iron and uranium, and for if we stack a uranium with a neutron, then huge energy released from this, and we have from this uranium it produces barium and krypton and two neutron. And the key to this release is the chain reaction produced by the free neutron release during fission, which when the mass of the uranium 235 exceeds a critical level about 52 kg a sphere 70 centimeter in diameter, um, and this is the chain reaction actually. Okay, but in our next class we are going to discuss the chain reaction broadly in our next class, and here the short discussion about chain reaction. At first we have uranium. After uh, uh, if we stuck the uranium with a neutron, then it produces barium, krypton, and neutron too. And with this neutron, we it also this neutron is also stuck another uranium, and it produce another barium and krypton and neutron together. And this neutron also also interacted with another uranium, and the reaction goes on. That's why this reaction is called um, chain reaction. um, and the key of this release of this chain reaction produces by the free neutron. These all are the free neutron that releases during fission process. And uh, after the release of this neutron, it interact with another uranium and produce uh, uh, another neutron, and so on. And less massive nuclei can release binding energy if they are fused together to make a larger nuclei. Here, nuclear fission powers the sun, where the hydrogen nuclei are converted into helium atoms, and in step by step, the process known as the proton-proton chain reaction, and it is a nuclear fusion reaction. And at first we have hydrogen. It produces uh, deuterium, and it produces helium. In this process, uh, it, with this process, uh, we, we have energy from the sun, and this process is nuclear fusion. And from hydrogen to helium, we have larger binding energy per nucleon, and it becomes stable after uh, being formed as helium. Here are some MCQ question for you. I have in the next 6 slide we have uh, 20 MCQ regarding to our lecture, and I think it will be helpful for you for your exam, and that you will be participate in our next weekly quiz test. First, read the question. Uh, I think you can solve this by yourself, and take uh, 30 to 40-second time to uh, solve this three question. Read number question 1, 2, and 3 and try to solve. And if you take enough time, if you want to take time, then pause the video and try to solve this and read this question too. And you can pause this video here and try to solve these question. I think uh, it's not so tough question for you, and easily you can solve all these questions. We are going our next slide. Solve, read this question also. And read this question too. You may take time to solve this question. You may take one minute time to solve this question. We are going our next slide, and if you are unable to solve, you may take time and pause this video here and read this question too and try to solve this question also. In which ray speed is below than 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second? Number 17 question is, which quantity has zero mass? Number 3, which penetrating capability is maximum? I think it's easy question for you to answer all this. Number 19, which ray doesn't deflect by magnetic and electric field, and which one is the deflected by electric field? I think it's easy for you, and all this question is related to alpha, beta, and gamma ray decay. And this is a homework for you. And knowledge based question is, what is radioactivity, what is mass defect, what is binding energy, and what is alpha decay. And comparison based question are why the isotopes are a variant of different element, and write down some characteristics alpha, beta, and gamma. And radiotherapy is a natural nuclear reaction. Explain it. What do you mean by the half-life of radon 3.8 days? And gamma radiation can deflect by magnetic field. Explain. And beta decay can means emission of electrons. Explain. I think you may have some question that is related to our topic, and I think this topic is much more easier because alpha, beta, and gamma decay that you have studied in your previous class, and uh, uh, previous class in class like SSC level. And you may have some question that is related to binding energy and binding energy per nucleon or mass defect. I think all these topics are much more easier than I think these all topics is easier topic in physics. And although you may have a question in these topics too, and if you have any question, and you can ask me in our class time. And due to coronavirus, I'd like to suggest you to stay home and don't go outside. And if you go outside, use mask, and when you come back, wash your hand and keep social distance to keep you safe. May Allah bless you all, and thank you for joining with us. And Allah Hafiz once again. Make the best use of your time.